Perfect. Welcome to Raw Take, everyone, the lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. I'm your host, Gion Thomas, and before we start the show, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And today we have a special guest. Today we have activist for queer-affirming websites, Cameron Samuels, and they'll be talking about his fight for unbanned LGBTQ plus websites. But before, Cameron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron Samuels. I use they, them pronouns, and I am a senior at Seven Lakes High School here in Katy ISD. And I've been advocating to unblock LGBTQ websites because students like me and my peers need to have access to this vital information.
Exactly. Now, Cameron, why do you feel as though Katy ISD has blocked these websites, these resources on campus?
I don't know why. It could be unintentional, but it's clear that with their inaction, their inability or their inaction to do anything about the issue, it's really showed that we haven't been prioritized as students, as LGBTQ community members. And we really do deserve to be able to access resources that can affirm our identities and save us in life-threatening situations regarding mental health.
Yes. I see that one of the bans is on the Trevor Project, and the Trevor Project is actually to help with suicide prevention. So to me, that makes no sense. Why would you try and stop people from harming themselves, especially a resource that is, that's being used for a great cause?
For sure. I mean, I don't know why the district isn't unblocking this. They have used the CIPA federal law, the Children's Internet Protection Act, as justification to block this. But that law does not indicate anything about LGBTQ content being prohibited for students to access. So this law that they're using to justify it does not justify it. Yeah. And it's important to protect students on the internet, but what does that mean whenever they're prohibiting students from accessing a suicide prevention lifeline, a resource that can save someone's life when they're in the depths of despair and struggling so hard? It only makes someone feel more hopeless and alone if they're unable to access these resources.
Exactly. One of the things I feel as though they shouldn't ban any kind of resource, especially why people are in school, why students have access. That is the time when people are trying to find themselves, trying to discover who they are. And I believe that, schools should be like at universities, like you have open access to anything and everything. And that knowledge helps you, that knowledge can be beneficial. And if you don't want to look for it, you don't have to go look for it. I just don't understand why they feel they have the right to have this internet filter.
Well said. That I would have said the exact same thing. It's for educational, an educational learning environment needs to be one that supports students, not tells them that their identity is alternate, inherently sexual, and something that should be prohibited specifically because it's talking about their identity.
Exactly. Do you feel as though because Katy is such a conservative area, do you feel like that is playing a huge part in their ruling?
I do feel that a lot of the members of the school board and in the district administration are leaning much more conservatively than I think represents the student body and the community as a whole. Katy ISD is a very diverse school district, not only in ethnic background, but in diversity of values, in ideologies, in political beliefs, and in someone's sexual orientation and gender identity. There's so many students who identify as part of the LGBTQ community, and it is a great number of students. Yeah. And each one of these students deserves to be supported in a learning environment that is supposed to be the foundation for going into the world and being successful, achieving excellence, and being able to thrive as someone who they should be themselves as.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I'm Cameron. So let's say what would be your message to them? I mean, we just had school board elections out here in Katy, and it's almost looking like we probably didn't put the right people in office. So if you could, and I know you've talked to them, you've gone to many school board meetings, but what would be like your just raw, uncut message to them? Like, what would that be?
To the school board?
Or to the school board members, to the people who are just, enacting these internet filters?
Whenever a student is on the verge of committing suicide, it's imperative that they have access to resources like the Trevor Project, to internet resources that can show them who they are, that can validate, make them feel understood, and support them no matter what they go through. And it's imperative as members of the school board who are elected to serve as the best their community could represent. They need to support students regardless of their sexual orientation or their gender identity.
Yeah. I always feel as though whenever you're banning information, it really becomes a slippery slope. So you're banning this today, and then tomorrow you're banning Black Lives Matter, and then the next day you're banning, Hispanic pride. It's just the conservatives always want to talk about a slippery slope, and they always want to talk about, like they're the PC police, but here they are really they're policing basically knowledge and access to information in schools. And to me, that's just asinine and backwards. And so I want to get into, you've kind of talked about the importance, but can you just go, I guess, a little bit into more the importance of access to specific LGBTQ plus internet content?
Whenever I was discovering who I was and exploring my identity, trying to figure out how do I become myself, because I haven't felt like myself, I relied on the resources that were available on the internet. That was invaluable to me. I needed those resources, and I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have access to those. And many of these students in Katy ISD, they don't have supportive families. They often can't talk to their friends about it because their friends might not be supportive of it either. And they sometimes don't have personal devices that have cellular data that they can disconnect from the Wi-Fi and access it from those devices. Many students also, their parents track their search history and which websites they're accessing, just like how Katy ISD is notifying parents of which books they check out if they're checking out an LGBTQ book. So because I, as an LGBTQ person, I relied on that access to internet content. And I know that so many of these students rely on school being that environment that they can sometimes safely be who they are and receive a community of friends, or at least it's a place that they can use the internet and research about LGBTQ topics and explore why they're feeling certain ways and who they could become if they were more accepting of themselves and had other people around them accepting of them.
Yes, I think that I mean, children spend so much time at school. I mean, students spend, I mean, what is it, 9 hours? I mean, and sometimes you got extracurricular activities. Sometimes people get there even earlier. So they spend a lot of time at school. You know, school needs to be a safe place. It needs to be a place where, you know, if your home life isn't good, you have that safety of coming to school. If you're trying, if you can't discover yourself at school, then yes, like I mean, if you can't discover yourself at home, you should be able to have a place, an opportunity, maybe at school to, you know, be able to find yourself, access resources. And so, I mean, I think that's a really great point, Cameron, that a lot of people don't even realize, like how much time these students are at school. And, you know, if there is no comfortable home life, then, you know, you want people to be miserable. Like that's, it's like they're trying to back people into a corner, and that's just not right.
Absolutely.
So, Cameron, I want to talk a little bit about so discrimination. How much longer do you feel like this discrimination will continue? Do you feel as though y'all are making strides? I know I know before the show we talked about you know, they've lifted some of the bans, but how do you feel this fight is going?
I feel pretty optimistic. Mm-hmm. I feel that we are making great progress with the district. We're able to reach those solutions that we as students desire to see. And I think it's looking pretty good right now. However, there is a lot of hesitation. And that is what's holding us up with unblocking the Trevor Project. We've been able to work with the district to unblock those 4 sites, the Montrose Center here in Houston, and PFLAG, GLSEN, and the Human Rights Campaign. So that was amazing that we've been able to unblock those websites. But the Trevor Project is still blocked, and so are so many other LGBTQ websites. So there is a lot of hesitancy from the district to eliminate the category that these websites are being blocked from. The category used to be called alternative sexual lifestyles, and then in parentheses, GLBT. That internet filter is undoubtedly discriminatory, and it tells students a clear message that they're not supported from their school district. And that internet filter category has been renamed over the summer to human sexuality. However, that's just gaslighting the issue, and it's masking the discrimination. Yeah. And that's what's making it much harder to clearly demonstrate that this filter is undoubtedly discriminatory, because in its root causes, it surely is. And we are still pursuing action through the means that we have been for the past couple months in reaching our goals to unblock the Trevor Project and unblock other sites. Hopefully we'll see this discriminatory category be removed, and all these websites that would otherwise be school appropriate can be unblocked. That would be amazing if that could happen. But we're still working hard. And one thing that we are pushing for is for the board to adopt an updated non-discrimination policy, because the current policy does not protect anyone from discrimination on the basis of sexuality or gender identity. And that's going to be really important, because if they can update that policy, then we're going to see some great results on building a better community in Katy ISD.
Yes, I totally support y'all fight. You know, I don't believe in banning any kind of information. You know, I feel like us banning information is how we've kind of gotten to the place where we're at now. And you know, so I really commend your fight, Cameron. And you know, we need more fighters, especially young fighters. So I've seen you at a lot of events, at protests. So how's the community support coming along?
We have been able to gain support from so many students, both part of the LGBTQ community and those who aren't. Those who are queer don't often have the ability to reveal that side of themselves.
Yeah.
And not many students have been able to actively be engaged in these efforts on the public front. We have so many students working behind the scenes with anonymous news interviews and with writing a petition that has gotten more than 1,000 signatures, and with sharing content on social media. But we haven't been able to have as many students on the forefront because it's such a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
But hopefully our efforts are going to create a community where it isn't such of a sensitive issue and that students can freely be themselves. That's our main goal, building that better community.
Yeah.
And we've gained a lot of support from community members, parents, teachers. Some administrators have been really supportive of our efforts. And it's really great to see that we are moving the needle within this school district towards a better community. It's really great to see that.
Yeah.
And it's been more than just in Katy ISD. We've had advocates across the state, across the country supporting us. And just, it's great to see that the efforts that our students have been working so hard on during the past couple months is actually doing something.
Yeah, it's good to see that hard work pay off, and it's good to have that support, you know, behind yourself, because you know, especially out here in Katy, you know, Cameron, it's a very conservative area, but you know, we are slowly changing, and I think, you know, stuff like this, like the fighting for internet access, for LGBTQ plus, I think, you know, all of these things will help turn not only making Katy blue or Katy democratic, but just more diverse and just more accepting of you know, other people. I know, as just being a Black man growing up in Katy, you know, it's hard, you know, people, especially at night, you know, that it's me running, jogging around at night, you know, I've been stopped because of that. You know, what are you doing? So, you know, anytime that anybody's being oppressed or, you know, discriminated against, or, you know, trying to you know, like restrict access to resources, you know, I always am an advocate for more access, and just, you know, you know, I don't believe in hiding anything. I hate that. So I really love your fight, man, and I love the fight that you got in you, and I can't wait to see what happens with this, and I hope they fully take down the ban. So you know, so y'all can have access, so everybody can have access.
For sure.
Yeah. So guys, that's our show. I want to thank Cameron for coming on, and I want to thank all of their work that they're doing. It's great. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any uploads. Y'all have a blessed day.